إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد. Today I want to talk about something very important, a topic which has been neglected by many for a long time. Something which is very important, and the negligence of this topic has cost us dearly, has cost this ummah dearly, and they are paying a price starting from now. We have only begun to pay the price, and the price has been heavy and it is going to be even heavier. Today I want to talk about something important, much more important than salah, much more important than hajj, much more important than zakah or any of the other rituals that we can think of. Alhamdulillah, all the adults today, I see them here, they have attended Salatul Jum'ah. And if they abide by the rules of Jum'ah, inshallah, their Jum'ah will be accepted. Meaning they do not talk, like what the Imam was speaking about, they do not use their phone in the khutbah. If they abide by these rules, inshallah, their Jum'ah is accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they get the full reward. I see a lot of the adults, but the main question today is, where are the youth? Where are your children? Why most of your children are not here today? They have summer vacation, am I correct? This is summer vacation, this is August. They are in the last month of the summer break. How come, where are these kids? I see a lot of the young kids, but where are the high schoolers? Where are the middle school students? What happened to them? And I am sure that you have children who are old enough who should be attending Jum'ah. I'm not talking about the little ones. Jum'ah is not even fard on them, but they are here. But where are the kids who are supposed to be in 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade, 6th grade? What happened to them? Where are they? Are they not Muslims as well like you? Are they not Muslims as well like you? Don't they also need Allah and His Messenger? Or is Islam only restricted to the people who are above 30? Or the people who are about to retire with 6 figures and then they have time to come to the masjid? But what happened to your children? Where are they? Why are they not here attending the Jum'ah? And it is not only this masjid, it is the whole ummah in general, that the young people, the young generation, there is a fundamental disconnect between the masjid and the young people, the young Muslims. The people who want to bring about the decay of society, they are trying to disconnect your children from Islam. How? They are pushing them away from the masjid. That's why in the masjid you only see people who are 30 plus, 40 plus, or people who are already retiring. These are the people you see filling up the masjid. But when you go to the corner, the store, that's where you see all the kids. They're not kids really. They are young adults, teenagers. And what are they doing? They are busy with drugs, alcohol. I'm serious. Muslims who claim to be Muslims, they are busy doing drugs, pork, alcohol, boyfriend, girlfriend, these kind of things. Why? This is normal in this society. This is not just normal, but it is encouraged. This type of evil, it is the norm in this society. This is normal and encouraged. People get credit in this society for doing such things, for doing such evil. As a matter of fact, if you do not drink wine, if you do not do dating illegally, we know that is haram. If you do not listen to music, if you do not go here and there, people look at you as if you are weird. Because you chose to stick to your moral principles. Because we as Muslims choose to stick to our principles, people will look at us as if we are strange, as if we do not belong here. To them, righteousness, morality is just lip service. But when it comes to the action, these people are long gone. And our kids as well, they have fallen in this trap. Now the kids who especially, they go to public school, this is even a more serious situation for them. Why? Because they are being programmed from such an early age to accept this type of evil. We know that mixing, free mixing between the man and the woman, it is not allowed. In general cases, it is not allowed. But this is the norm in the educational system all around the world. We know that boyfriend, girlfriend, dating, these kind of things is not allowed as Muslims. But this kind of thing, this concept is normal in the public school and in the educational system in this country and elsewhere. We know that cursing, listening to music, looking at the haram on the TV and these kind of things. Matter of fact, you do not even have to have a TV to actually watch TV. Everything is there on your phones now. Everything is there online. You don't need an actual television set to watch TV. TV is now everywhere around us. They have these smartwatches where you could watch TV. So it's not, I do not literally mean the physical technology of a TV, the box. I mean anything that allows you to stream video. Right? So these kind of things, we know that these things are not allowed, but this is the norm in that type of educational system. Now when you send your kid from age 4, age 5, all the way until high school in this system, what do you think happens to such a person, such a kid, a boy or a girl, once he or she enters into college? This kind of system degrades or brings about the degradation of their moral authority, their moral stance. So much that once they enter into college, and I have heard many stories like this, including from my own friends who we used to go to school with, they become non-Muslims. Not that they become non-Muslims, that they become Christian or Jewish. No, they leave Islam and any form of religion completely, meaning they become atheists. Meaning they do not even acknowledge the existence of any form of God or deity or Lord. Whether Allah or any other Lord that they may want to acknowledge, they do not even acknowledge that. They're not even agnostic. Agnostic are people who acknowledge some form of being, but they do not worship. They become atheists, meaning they do not even acknowledge a Lord. So far removed from religion. Muslims with the name of Abdullah and Abdul Rahman. I've seen many of former classmates from high school, from elementary school. These people are not even Muslim anymore. They have the name, they look like they're Muslim, but their belief system is gone. Why? Because they grew up in this type of educational system which bombards the kids from age 5, age 4, even younger, with all this evil. What do you think if you send someone through this type of filthy environment for 12, 14 years? Do you think he's going to end up, or she's going to end up like Imam Bukhari or Aisha radiallahu anha? Do you think that's possible? If you put someone in this type of system for this long, do you think he is not going to get programmed or brainwashed? Do you think that he is so strong that he is not going to accept any filth? Not only will he accept the filth, he will take part in it himself. He will encourage it amongst himself and his own family members and his friends. Why? You cannot blame him because this is the only thing he knows from age 5. He grew up with this kind of thing. If someone grew up in the countryside or in the village for his whole life, he never been to the city before, he never saw a subway before, he never saw a university, he never saw any of these high-rise buildings, the first day he comes into the city, he will be shocked and amazed. He will not know how to react. Can you blame him for that type of reaction? No, because he didn't see anything else before in his life. The only thing he saw was where he lived in. The people who grew up in New York City or who are living here now and haven't seen the other cities or other towns, when they go there, they become very shocked and amazed. When they go to the people who live in New York City, if they go to Dubai, they see those huge Burj Khalifa, the longest tower, the tallest skyscraper or something. When they look at it the first time, they get shocked. They want to take selfies and pictures with it because this is the first time they saw this kind of thing. The only thing they saw in their life was this dingy city over here, this garbage-looking city. So you can't blame them for reacting that way. That's the only thing they saw their whole life. Now your kids, you send them to this type of system for that many years. Do you think, should you blame him or yourself for reacting such a way? When he goes to college, the doors are open. There's no restriction. No restriction whatsoever. It's a free pass, free for all. And we know what happens in college. We know what happens in the dorms. Every Friday night, people get drunk. People get drunk, they do parties, and they have zina and music. This is the norm. This is the norm. And you turning your blind eye to it is not going to solve the problem. And then when you finally see your kid turn like this, then you come to the Imam al-Masjid oh Shaykh, Imam, please tell me what I can do. Please talk to my son. What is this going to do now? What is the Imam going to do for your son after 20 years? You didn't listen to the advice when we gave it to you on day one. You come 20 years later, now you're complaining about your son? Too bad. You can't do anything from now. It is too late. That is the truth. And you may not like to hear it, but it doesn't matter to us. We have to say the truth whether you like it or not. This is the message of truth. It is harsh. You did not listen to the people who advised you on day one to raise your children a certain way. Now you are tasting the fruits, the result of your own doing after 20 years. It is too late now. You cannot do anything. When you make a cinder block, right, or a block of cement, once the water is still in there and is soft, you can mold it, you can shape it accordingly. Correct? But what happens when you leave it out under the sun for a day or two? It becomes dry and it becomes hard. It becomes a brick. Can you shape a brick? Can you mold it? No. It's too late. Now the only way to fix it, you can't even fix it, you just have to destroy the whole thing and start again from scratch. You cannot shape a brick. You can probably cut it a little bit here and there. I don't know too much about this kind of things, but it's kind of obvious that a brick you cannot shape and mold. You have to take a sledgehammer or whatever and just break it into pieces. Just integrate it. This is what is happening with your children. So take advantage of the time that they have. They have not turned into solid bricks yet. I hope not. Sometimes they may have already. It's too late. We cannot do anything about that, except whoever Allah has mercy on. But right now, they are, I hope that they are like a soft plant. When you plant a seed, after a few days of rain, you see a little leaves coming out. Very soft stem, green branch, right? But 20, 30 years later, this little seed becomes this big, huge tree with the trunk and the bark. Do you think you can shape the tree at that time after it grows 30 years, 40 years later? No. The only thing you could do then is just saw it and cut it off. You cannot shape it. Those little plants, you can tie them onto sticks or fences, and then you can manipulate the shape in which they grow. Did you know that? You could tie them onto a pole a certain direction, and they start following the pole. They start turning left and right. SubhanAllah, the way Allah created these things, it is amazing. But the point is, at that young age, tender age, they're soft. You can manipulate them. You can manipulate their direction to a certain extent. But once they become full-grown trees, with that solid trunks, you cannot bend their shape anymore. It's too late. The only thing you have to do now is cut off the whole tree. And even then, that is not good enough. If the roots are still intact, it will grow back again. Now, if you have been planting the seed of evil, and it already grew 20, 30 years, it's too late. You cannot change anything. Now, my advice is to the parents, grab your kids before that stage comes. And trust me, you will remember this day and many other days when people have come to remind you about the state and situation of your kids, but when you didn't pay attention, and then 20 years later in college, you come to the and say, oh, my son ran away with some girl, or some girl my daughter ran away with someone else. What can I do? Well, to be honest with you, you cannot do anything. You should have done it 20, 30 years ago. Now, you didn't want to listen to me, not me, but people who gave me advice. You didn't want to listen to them 20 years ago. Why are you coming to us now? Leave me alone. Let me spend time on my children instead of worrying about someone else. When I offered him my advice for free, he didn't listen. Now he wants to take my time away from my own children. It doesn't work that way. People came to you already. You threw them away. You looked at them as if they don't know what they're talking about. Now you come back to them. Why you didn't listen before? You wouldn't have to suffer this kind of problem. SubhanAllah, and it's not only that. The kids are a responsibility. I don't think people understand what that means. That means whatever your kids do, if you didn't raise them up properly, Allah will ask you about them and you will have to pay the price for their sins. What do I mean? Does Allah punish people for other people's sins? No, but if they were your responsibility and you didn't do your responsibility, then yes, He will punish you for your negligence. Where is the proof? وَقَالَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا رَبَّنَا أَرِنَا الَّذَيْنِ أَضَلَّنَا مِنَ الْجِنِّ وَالْإِنسِ. They will say, Oh Allah, O Lord, show us the two people الذين is مثنى, is for two people specifically. Who chose the people who misguided us in that life, meaning in the dunya. نجعلهما تحت أقدامنا, so we can step on their faces, so they can be the lowest of the low before you throw us all together into the hellfire. So that same kid that you just let him be, you didn't care about him, or if you did care about him, you didn't care about his affairs of the akhirah, you only cared about the affairs of this life, as if that really matters. These same kids that you worked double shift for to put them through med school, or you took loans, riba, haram interest, you took loan, these same kids you did all the sacrifice for, they're not going to care on the day of judgment what you did for them. Why? Because you, as a father or a mother, did not wake them up for Fajr, did not bring them for Salat in the Masjid, did not sit down with them to teach them about Allah and His Messenger. If you just look at the kids in general, you can see where the direction is, who they think they should be emulating, who they think they should be imitating, who they think they should model their life after. And it is clear that it is not Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It is clear that they are not looking up to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam the way Muslims are supposed to. Why? Because they give more worth and value to the lifestyle of those who are not Muslim. But can you blame them for that? In certain cases you can, but most cases no. Why? Because it was your fault. You didn't teach them about their religion. You thought that bringing them to the masjid on Saturday, Sunday only is more than enough. You think that it is the imam's job to teach your child about Islam. If that's the imam's job, then what is your job as a parent? What are you supposed to do? You're the parent, right? Is the imam the father of your kid? Whose job is it to teach your kid about taqwa? To fear Allah when nobody's looking. To not to steal when nobody's looking. Or to not to eat in Ramadan when nobody's looking. That's the imam's job? Then what's your job? Just to give birth and that's it? What kind of parent is that? What kind of parenting is that? I've never heard of any parenting like that. You just give birth to a child and throw the child in the masjid and hope that he becomes Bukhari? Is that what our companions did? You see, when you think intellectually, you see that this does not make any sense. This does not make any sense. That's a joke. And it's not even a funny joke to begin with. It's very sad that the Muslims could think like this. They do not want to sit with their children. I remember when I was 5 or 6 years old, my father used to sit with me every morning and he used to recite to me from memory whatever surahs that he used to know. Juz Amma, Juz Tabaq, Juz Qasama, and I used to test him. From age 5, after every Fajr, we used to sit together in the kitchen table. And he used to recite to me and I used to catch and follow him in the Quran. It was our habit. This culturing, this programming from day one has to be there. You cannot wait till he's 20 years old and then expect him to sit down and make salah when the first 20 years he didn't even care about Allah and His Messenger. How do you think that's going to work? How do you think that's going to work? Now, I'm not here to bash people. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to help you understand the severity of the situation because it is so bad outside. And we do not realize it, the parents do not even realize it until it is too late. Now I see this thing happening. And I'm trying to warn you of this deficiency before it happens to any one of us. And it already has happened to many of us. I'm trying to warn you before you reach that stage. Before you reach stage 4 of cancer. You know what stage 4 is? That's it. It's terminal. There is no hope for recovery. Except whoever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wishes. But at that stage, normally it is a done deal. Your fate has been sealed. Now I am trying to cure the issue or to bring about attention to the issue before it reaches stage 4. Maybe we're at stage 2. Maybe there's some hope we can bring it back to stage 1. But I do not want us to realize it when it is stage 4 already and it is too late. So we have to culture our children. It is a big responsibility. And Rasulullah said, كُلُّكُمْ مَسْئُولٌ عَنْ رَعِيَّتِهِ وَكُلُّكُمْ رَاعٍ وَكُلُّكُمْ مَسْئُولٌ عَنْ رَعِيَّتِهِ. That we are all shepherds. You know, a shepherd, they take the sheep and they take them for food. They have to take care. It's a very long job. All day they're outside taking care of 20, 30 sheep. They have to push them in a certain direction, make them follow with a stick, right? Rasulullah said, we are all shepherds. Not of sheep, but of our families, of our kids, of our children, our wives. We are shepherds, and you are all responsible for your flock, meaning your family. Now, if you do not culture them properly, if you do not talk to them about Allah and His Messenger on a daily basis, then what is going to happen? First of all, it is not the Imam's job. Yes, they teach the fiqh and the rituals, but it is your job as a parent to bring about them the fear of Allah. Ilm and khawf, knowledge and fear is two different things. Fear is an emotional aspect. That has to be instilled by the parents. The masjid, the weekend schools, they teach the ilm part. But the fear of Allah has to be taught by the parent. Because you could have knowledge, but you may not have fear. So it doesn't do anything for you. I know many of Huffaz, not personally, but I heard of many Huffaz, they do not even make salah. So what does memorizing the Quran, what does it do for them? They have the knowledge of the Quran, yes, but they do not have the fear of Allah, so they do not follow what's in the Quran. They do not abide by anything in the Quran. They're not even remotely Muslim. So what does the knowledge do for them if they do not have fear? Now whose job is it to teach, inculcate, or integrate this fear? It's not the masjid's job. It is the father's job and the mother's job. But the thing is, the father and the mother is busy making money all day. So that's why they do not have time for their kids. They leave their kids here in the street or there, mixed with this guy and that guy. If you want to look at the direction your kids are heading to, look at a few things. Look at the way they speak. Look at the friends that they hang with. Look at their general subject of talking. And look at the way that they dress. You can judge by these external. Allah only knows what's in the heart. Of course, nobody claims we know what's in the heart. But certain aspects of a person's way of life, his psychology, his way of thinking, manifests in the way he may choose to speak or dress or interact with people. Now, if you see certain alarm signs, warning signs, certain sirens going off, when you analyze these things, and how are you going to analyze if you're not even at home to observe your kids? How are you going to analyze if you're busy all day outside, running after someone else's kid, but forgetting your own? How are you going to even sit down and analyze? So just watch. Look at these little signs. You know what a doctor does, right? A doctor doesn't know what's in your heart. He looks for symptoms or signs of potential sickness. Meaning if you go for a physical examination once a year, right? You do that, right? You go to the doctor once a year. He gives you examination, he takes tests, looks at the blood. He doesn't know from with his eyes closed that what's wrong with you. You have to show him some symptoms. You're like, oh doctor, I have this, I have pain here, my eyes are sore, this and that for many years. The doctor looks for symptoms. He doesn't know what's in your heart. And then they take tests and do blood analysis and all the other stuff. He doesn't have ilmul ghaib to know what's wrong with you. He examines you, looks at what's apparently wrong from you on the outside, and he makes a judgment. Right? Am I not right? Yes. The doctor doesn't know what's in your heart. He has to look at you, you have to tell him what's wrong. Now the same way you have to be a doctor with your kids. Sit them down, talk to them, ask him, what do you think about Allah? Who's Allah? It's like, oh, Allah, is just someone in the sky. No, that's not enough. He's not just someone in the sky. That's Santa Claus or something. That's not Allah. He's not just someone in the sky. So then you have to sit down and talk with your kids. Right? And it is not the kid's fault. This is solely the parents' fault. I'm sorry to say this is the case. How do you expect the kids to know anything if the parents didn't teach them anything? If you never taught him 2 + 2, who do you think he's going to learn? And then, it is for your own safety I'm telling you this. Because your kids are an investment. Right? You don't want them coming in the day of judgment and dragging you to hellfire. Do you want that? That your own kids, that you sacrifice your blood and guts for, that these same kids are going to bring a court case against? How would you like it if your kid today brought a lawsuit against you in the court of law in this country? You would not even be able to imagine How angry and hurt you would feel if your own son takes you to court and sues you for something, maybe for the house or something, some legal issue. How do you think you would feel if your own daughter took you to court and sued you, and because of that you're in prison? Do you think you'll be happy with your son? Now, how angry and how hurt do you think on the day of judgment you will be when the same kid sues you in the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you're not going to be in prison for just 5 years, you'll be in prison for life, for eternity. And there's no death. At least over here there's death, which can serve as a relief from a life sentence. Over there's no death. Matter of fact, on that day, death itself will die. Allah says in Surah Al-A'raf, فَأَذَّنَ مُؤَذِّنٌ بَيْنَهُمْ أَلَّعْنَةُ اللَّهِ عَلَى الظَّالِمِينَ, that today there is no death. There is no death. Death will come on the day of judgment as a sheep or a goat, and the angels will what? Slaughter that sheep, which is death. And they will call out, O people of Jannah, Ya Ashab al-Jannah, Ya Ashab al-Nar, O people of Nar, today there is no death for you. The people of Jannah will be happy, of course. They get to live and enjoy forever. No death. But the people in hellfire, do you think they'll be happy? Now, it is not enough for you to be coming to the masjid and doing Hajj 5 times a year. That's not possible. But, doing Hajj every year, 5 Umrah a year, that is your own good deeds. That's going to stay with you. But what happened to your kids? In this case, it is more efficient for you to be spending that money that you spend for 5 Umrah a year and 50 Hajj in your lifetime on your kids. 1 Hajj is more than enough. You have done your duty to Allah. But in regards to your kids, you have not done your duty. You have not fulfilled responsibility. So why not look after that? Now I'll tell you why people don't want to look after that. Because it's not easy to raise kids. I do not have kids, so I do not know. But I can see, judging from what my own parents went through with their 4 kids, including me, we're all adults now except one of them. I can see what kind of hell they went through compared to everyone else around them. And people looked at them as if they were nuts. But these same people, now they're complaining to my parents about their kids. Oh, my kid went this and did that, now please help. You made mockery of us 20 years ago, now you want us to help you? I'm sorry, I can't help you. Bye. Now, nobody likes the way I spoke here. But this is what your kids are going to do to you on the day of judgment. You might as well hear it here, where you can make a difference, instead of hearing it there, when all you can do is say, woe unto me, why have I not listened to those who came to warn me? This is what people are going to say in the day of judgment. They say, Ya laytana ata'na Allah, we wish we obeyed Allah and His messengers and those who came to warn us. Do you think your regret on that day will do anything? When you already get your final exam grade, do you think you crying is going to change the 0 into 100? No. The record has been sealed. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the tawfiq to allow our parents to raise their children properly in the Sirat al-Mustaqim. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow our parents to understand the magnitude and the severity and the dire state of their situation of the kids. اللهم صل وسلم على المسلمين اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت وعافنا فيمن عافيت وتولنا فيمن توليت وبارك لنا فيما اعطيت وقنا واصرف عنا برحمتك شر ما قضيت انك تقضي سبحانك ولا يقضى عليك انه لا يذل من واليت ولا يعز من عاديت تباركت ربنا وتعاليت سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك ونشهد ان لا اله الا انت نستغفرك ونتوب اليك واقم الصلاه الحمد لله.